And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 1263. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. ish. And today's top stories, there's only a few as the market was seen going a little bit sideways. Bitcoin sees most liquidation since 2021 as crazy reset wipes $1.6 billion. Wasn't that crazy? Ray Dalio predicts global debt crisis backs Bitcoin and gold. Eric Trump predicts Bitcoin will hit $1 million and praises scarcity. And does Google's quantum computing chip, what does that mean for Bitcoin? But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices today. All right, so like I said, the top story is these prices are tumbling. Everything's going bad. I mean, you get a few percentage points drop and the whole world goes crazy. Even after Bitcoin did this amazing climb. I mean, get out of here, people. But that is the way of the world when it comes to this space. Let's go ahead and look at this. Bitcoin is coming in at $97,697, down 1.86%. Ethereum took a nice little dip. $3,667, down 6.1%. Number 4, Ripple at $2.18 with a 10.5% dip. Yep, it's time to expect those. We were getting some good pumps. Time to expect some pullbacks. Number 7, Dogecoin at 39 cents with another 10% pullback as well. Number 9, Cardano at $1.01, 11.3% pullback. And number Tron at number 10 at 26 cents with a 11% pullback also. Let's see, the fear and greed index is at a 76, as you see here. Bitcoin dominance is coming back that quick, people. As soon as the prices go down, everyone runs back toward Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance back up to 55.96%. Ethereum dominance back down to a 12.8%. And it looks like that fear and greed is wearing off. We're starting to see that in the prices also. And again, something I just talked about, like I said, on the radio show today with Naja, as well on this show, like we're expecting some type of retracement of buying pressure to slow down or to wear off. So we're seeing that now. I don't think we'll see the big dip still into another 20 or 40K. I think we have left to go, a little bit more to squeeze. And again, this is perfect timing. This is December 10th. These first 2 weeks is when you actually see the first real pump, which is supposed to happen. So right now, I think we will go sideways. If not actually downward, we'll face some downward pressure. Usually toward the holidays, you see some sales as people are trying to take holiday and make, get some last minute money for the year and things like that. And then after Christmas and then the week leading up to the birthday, Bitcoin's birthday, the new year and everything, you start to see those prices uptick again. So we could see some sideways to downward pressure here in the next 2 weeks before we see it actually start to pump again after Christmas, going into the new year, and then the new year as a whole, once we get the new administration here also. So we definitely had to pay attention to that. Really quick, let me give some shout outs to the chat. What up, though, everybody in the chat? Welcome back to the show. It's going to be a quick one, mostly just talking Bitcoin price today, as that is what has everyone shook up. But until then, Hyben17, what up, though? And Cario, El Devnum L, Satoshi Slim, Wisdom Bars, Magnolian Pelican, Chai Keezy, I think I said that right. Memories with Mike, what's going on? TL, Jake Fever said the shakeout was real. Retail got spooked. LOL. Meme coiners. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to cover it, but I even saw an article talking about how BlackRock are essentially, like I said, they play the game where they move assets over. You have our biggest days and they move assets away, and you have our worst days. So it looks like they just did that recently as well. That probably is going to play a part into the price. But again, this shakeout isn't even that serious. You're talking 2 or 3 percentage points, a couple $1,000s. We're still in the high 90s. This is all good to me. Let's see. What about those prompt 2 3D AI video game generation agents? We're close to an inflection point for sure. With all the new business and random business that's coming into the space. I know what you mean. Satoshi Slim said, especially during the holiday shopping season, people are taking profit for last minute gift buying. I mean, people are going to be taking profit for last minute gift buying. And honestly, any type of like sideways movement or extreme dips, I think it will cause some long-term holders to actually sell and say, you know what? I know the dip is coming. Maybe I don't get 120K Bitcoin, 130, but I got out at 103. and we'll wait till it goes back to 70, 79, 82, and then we'll rebuy back in, right? So some people's strategies will start to change as these numbers increase, okay? It's a big difference between 100K to a million than it is 0 to 100K. And you're going to start seeing that change in people's portfolio habits also, all right? So with that being said, going to this top story really quick. Again, kind of already covered it, but Bitcoin sees most liquidations since 2021 as crazy reset wipes $1.6 billion. Again, this wasn't even that bad to me, but I guess if you're a noob, or again, if you got in at 103,000, this is probably like, oh my God, what's going on? But back to normal for us. Again, this is the climb to 120 to 140. Bitcoin and crypto liquidations pile up amid unusual conditions, which began with Coinbase traders offloading Bitcoin. Of course, you can always rely on good old Coinbase to make this market jump back and forth. These are the 3-year records as a fresh Bitcoin price dump takes the market to a popular target. New research from X account LTRD reveals crazy trader behavior while the total crypto market cap shed up to 11% on December 9th. And if you've been watching this show, you know this is something we've expected. We're going to continue to expect. 11% is nothing, people. I honestly, if you remember a few days ago, I said I expected like a 15% one for one of these earlier ones. So 11% isn't that bad. I mean, yeah, thank you, Price Cobbs. I'm just not looking at the comments when I said Price Cobbs said, wasn't King just talking shakeout and correction last week? He called it right. And like I say, 11% isn't that bad. I was thinking more we get like a little 15%er, maybe even a 17%er where you might see a nice little chunk down to 88 to 92 get pieced out. This is not that bad. And then you see how fast it recovered also. It bounced right back. You're talking about a premium product for a discount when you say $80,000 Bitcoin. It's crazy, but you're talking about a premium product for a discount at $80,000. So yeah, I mean, it can't happen. Jake said, I think the regular people holding a significant amount of Bitcoin isn't selling in Bitcoin, but everyone else selling their $100 of Bitcoin. That could be it as well. And don't forget, again, these big movements by BlackRock and everything, where they remove assets under management and bring it back, and you get these record-breaking days. That's also, if you remember, I said that's going to start affecting up to 10 to 15% of the price. They just did that. We're looking at 11%. That could have been all, technically they'll consider a retail because of the portfolios, but that could have been all institutional movement that made it drop so quickly. Regardless, to me, it's nothing. It's a non-starter, either whether it was institutions or whether it was a retail market. It's 10 to 15% that falls within the normal range of Bitcoin dip in there. That falls within the range of me doing this show. This is how I used to get the calls in the morning. Oh, they saying this is the biggest dip since the last 3 years. And you look at the information, it's like, oh, it's not that bad, guys. It's like, this is another normal day. We're good to go. Let's see. It looked like it dipped near $94,000. So again, I get it if you're new to the market, or even for some of the people who've been here the last couple of years and you're really hoping to see it push past 100K, not just 103, 105. You want to see that 110, 100 teens. Well, it won't come easy. All right. The 100K came easy. The teens won't come that easy. And it looks like this actual dip constituted around 50% of a large downside wick from December 5th, one that had created a market inefficiency that had a 96% chance of being filled, analysis said. I mean, yeah, you can armchair quarterback this thing. Monday morning quarterback and say, you know, we thought 90% chance it was going to go this way from a technical perspective. But honestly, there's so many fundamental events happening that could be the reason as well. I mean, every day you're seeing Elon Musk in the news. Now they're talking about Doge nonstop, talking about now it has a, I saw the other day, it says it has an end date. I'm not sure if you all saw that. All government agencies are supposed to end. Of course, it has an end date. They're scamming. They got to let you know when they're going to be out of here by. When our president administration is gone and we can't receive these presidential pardons, this Doge program will end. How much sense does it make that it's supposed to handle government efficiency, but we're going to do it all in 4 years and never have to look into it again? Get out of here. Listen, the fix is in on the Doge program officially. I can't wait to see what happens next. And Cario said, you cover the PSYOP with South Korean martial law. Did Putin call in a 6-hour favor to pump his Tron bags? Hilarious. But I did talk about the South Korean martial law. I didn't call it a PSYOP, but it makes sense, I guess, with Bitcoin going to 100K, they would put something like that in place. Jake, shout out to Jake. I appreciate chat and the gentleman in the crypto community. Give me something to be excited about on my crypto journey. Same here, man. You all give me something to be excited about, Jake. Oh man, how many times have I watched? Have I had a drink when I'm doing some crypto or Bitcoin and thought of you? All right. Other news, we got Ray Dalio here, of course, one of the other biggest asset managers out there on the planet. Ray Dalio Bridgewater Associates referred to Bitcoin as a hard asset, saying he would choose Bitcoin and gold over debt assets. That is right. Bitcoin continues to receive nods from billionaires and organizations alike. Billionaire investor Ray Dalio expressed concerns about a potential pending debt money problem in global finance and urged a shift toward hard assets like Bitcoin and gold. Ooh, it's too late for that. Dalio, the founder of one of the world's largest hedge funds, Bridgewater Associates, said he would invest in hard money like gold and Bitcoin while avoiding debt assets. The South China Morning Post reported on December 10th. The veteran investor referred to the unprecedented levels of indebtedness seen in all major countries, including the United States and China, stressing that its current levels will not be sustainable. It is impossible for these countries to be able to not have a debt crisis in the years ahead that will lead to a great decline of money value, Dalio said in a speech at a financial conference in Abu Dhabi. Here he is saying, steer away from debt assets like bonds and debts. Quote, I believe that there will be a pending debt money problem, Dalio said, referring to debt as one of the five big forces driving global economy alongside money, economy, eternal political order, and external geopolitical order. Oh, and by the way, I think I was live. Didn't I mention that side thing live the other day? Was I just talking to my friends behind the scenes? I have so many of these conversations I can't remember, but I told y'all it wasn't going to be good. I don't know if I was live behind the scenes, but I was telling people this is side thing, this serious thing we should never stuck our nose there, which I also was a part of from years ago, was going to turn out bad. And I'm getting reports that this thing is turning out bad. But we'll see. When it comes to Ray Dalio, Bridgewater Associates, and Bitcoin, and not just the political order of things that I just alluded to, but also the money and economy and this debt crisis. Not only do I think it would be a big debt crisis, I think it would be the biggest one yet. I'm not sure if some of you have watched this show from years ago, but when I started, one of the things that I called out that actually didn't happen, it was actually a wrong call, not because I necessarily called it wrong, but because the government is essentially doing wrong. One of the things I called back in 2016 when I said, hey, I do think Trump be president back then because of some things I was looking at and saying the crypto market was going to pump afterwards and blah, blah, blah. One of the things I also was paying attention to was a federal audit we were supposed to be doing on the Federal Reserve and everything else, which we ended up kicking the can down the road. The last administration, I think it was the Obama administration, whatever, kicked the can down the road to Trump. Trump kicked the can down the road to Biden, and Biden's kicking the can down the road back to Trump. Nobody's doing audits. I mean, we just did the audit. Was it? I can't remember. Somebody remind me in the chat. Was it with the Pentagon or something recently? Department of Defense, where tons of money is still missing. Of course, that's always been happening, but we're not auditing our actual money system here in America. And I'm sure we're not doing it because we all actually know the answer to that. It's almost like you're not checking your bank account because you know it's in the negatives. You know you're getting hit with overdraft fees. You're getting the text messages. You're getting the emails. You're like, it's not even worth checking. Like, I know it's in the negative. It's not worth checking. That's where the United States is with this national debt crisis. Like, we are in debt, all right? And we're printing out more fake money. We kept doing it during COVID. And no one wants to actually check the numbers to see what's what because we know how bad it get and how bad it will scare the national public. It's going to be worse than the 2008 financial crisis. That should have actually been worse, but we essentially saved companies and printed more money and gave them taxpayer money so that they wouldn't go under because the government did understand, hey, we let these big companies fail, these other companies will fail. And instead of letting a business fail, we decided to bail out a bad business. It doesn't make much sense, I know, but this is the games they play when you worth multi-billions of dollars. So I think Ray Dalio is alluding to this, that, hey, we've been due for an economic reset or a retracement. This thing happens usually every 8 to 10 years after every new president that comes in, if a president stays for 2 terms. We usually see this happen almost every turn, especially when you see parties change, you actually see the same thing. So I believe the last time we saw a crisis in magnitudes when Obama was taking office or in office back in 2008. Again, for the housing crisis, the economic crisis that came from that, bad mortgage loans and all that good stuff. We haven't seen a United States retracement or a global retracement since then. When it happens next, it is going to be of epic proportions. It is going to be the biggest dips. And you know what? I know this to be true as well because COVID showed me that big companies are broke. COVID showed, if you guys remember, we had the masterclass during COVID and all types of other stuff going on. Bitcoin is actually doing well. If you remember, it went from $3,000 to back up to whatever. And I am telling you from experience, banks don't have money on hand. Again, this is what I mean when people talk about FDIC insurance and everything like that. Try to do like an $80,000 transaction with your bank. Try to do a $50,000 transaction with some of your banks. Like try to do some of these numbers for the people who are in those ballparks. They are broke, as well as other companies. We start seeing look, it was A-list actors doing commercials on internet with my ass. I was like, hold on, what are we doing right now? I was like, I try to corner this market because I can eat all the time off it. The competition is low. Next thing you know, I'm seeing literal A-list actors of all types doing internet commercials, doing the same type of commercials I will go after, the smaller, the mid-sized ones, just to keep the checks coming in and lights on or whatever. Like I started seeing that during COVID as well. It's because they don't have the money they're saying. That's the same with organizations, big and small. You saw restaurants closing down, places that who have been around for 10, 20 years you never thought would close, and they're shuttering their doors off of 1 or 2 bear market years of business. Think about that. In Bitcoin and crypto, how many bear market and bad years have we had that we had to stick around for? And you're talking about companies during COVID had 1 to 2 bad years and shut down. People don't have money. I'm telling you, they are fronting. Some of the people who claim to have millions are fronting. There's so many people front out there. But I say all that to say, yes, I agree. When this debt crisis happens, which it will, we're going to have an extraordinary dip. And the only people who will really be safe, of course, are those in the military. But besides them, are there going to be people who do have those hard assets, as he's mentioning, like Bitcoin and gold? I think more so Bitcoin than gold of anything. But again, to start seeing them push this out on this type of stage, then this says a lot to me. Now, of course, Peter Schiff is back in the news, as you see here, telling him to Biden to sell, dump Bitcoin or whatever. I don't listen. Peter Schiff, this is just who he chose to be at this point. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes to 1 million, he still will be screaming to get rid of it. And once it goes back to 950,000, he'd be saying, "I told you so." All right, this is the guy's job and role in the market. I'm not mad at him. The course has been set. It's too late to redirect from. He's like, no, I am going down with it's gonna be fit. It's gonna be the year 2140. He's gonna pass it on to his kids. They'll be alive and they'll be grandpas. Like my great granddaddy said, I always knew the Bitcoin project wasn't gonna do anything. It's like, yeah, we knew everything would stop this year. Probably. It was like, yeah, that's what we've been telling y'all the last 50 years. It's like, all right, knock it off. Bitcoin is alive and well. It's alive and well. Let's see. Don't front. You know I got you open old school. Y'all over here in the comments. Funny. Jake said my business plan is to buy Bitcoin and wait. There you go. Pass it on to your kids. And other good news. I mean, hey, incoming president is Trump. We've talked about it before with some of these bankers and their children, these congressmen and women and their kids, about how they're going to push them over to a crypto. Well, this is a great sign. It's almost like, yeah, your dad's being the boss of the free world and saying, yeah, I know my friend's locked up, but we hope to have him home in a minute. Like he's about to pull a Biden senior in a second and make sure everything's fixed. So I like this rhetoric coming from Eric Trump. He's predicting Bitcoin will hit $1 million and he praises scarcity. I like this rhetoric, especially from a president who's known to hire his kids, right? Hey, today is crypto czar, so-and-so, tomorrow crypto czar could be Eric Trump. Seriously, like you never know. It could. What's the youngest one? It was as young as like 12 or something, 14. I don't even know. What do you put the youngest one as the crypto czar? Like, could we stop it technically? I don't know. We'll see. But Eric Trump predicted governments and institutions will adopt Bitcoin, highlighting that the early movers are set to win. Eric Trump, an American businessman, executive vice president of the Trump Organization, and son of the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, predicted that Bitcoin will someday hit $1 million. I'm telling you all, the real mistake was, and this is what you would think. I'm trying to see the best way to say. I'm not trying to offend anybody. You would think political parties, you know what? They are actually smarter. I would say you would think political parties be smarter than to piss off somebody to the extreme they did that was as powerful as Trump. And I don't care how you feel. If you ever sat in the seat of U.S. president, you're powerful, right? Like you check the power box. Whether you're in there for 2 days, doesn't matter. You got in there for 2 days. You made it to the show, all right? So it kind of surprised me that, and again, I say it does surprise me, but it doesn't. It surprises me that you would antagonize and let somebody and not finish the job. Essentially, you try to kill somebody off and you didn't finish the job of this stature. That's very interesting. But then on the flip side, it's like the left and the right are the same bird. I keep telling y'all, it's a different wing of the same bird. They're doing it intentional for theatrics. But I'll just talk about how they didn't kill this guy. And I make that point because Bitcoin, we all know, is censorship resistant. So what else would a person turn to if they're getting hit from every direction? You're canceling my bank accounts. I can't be on TV. I can't be on the internet channels. I can't tweet this. I can't do this. You are restricting me. This is what the United States is known to do for its own citizens and its enemies as well, foreign and domestic. We would, and this actually goes down to the population. This is the poke the bear stuff Americans have, where you see these American people sometimes who are just assholes who are messing with people, poking with people, messing with people. And the minute there's a school shooting, everybody want to go crazy and not ask the question of what happened to the student who brought the gun to school. Everybody want to ignore that. Doesn't matter what happened to the person. It's no right. No right. Clearly, he had a God-given right because they did it and they weren't stopped until afterwards. So there is a right there. My point is this: we have this thing where we keep messing with people, bullying people, poking stuff, and then when they come back swinging and shooting, we're like, oh my God, I didn't see that happening. Well, that is Donald Trump and his family with Bitcoin. You want to say you don't get media, you don't get this, you don't get to do that. And I'm not saying right or wrong. That was a choice of America. I watched the show. I did watch the show happen. That is what happened now. And then he comes back and says, fine, well, we're going to do a crypto czar. We're going to do a Bitcoin this and a Bitcoin. It makes sense. He's making himself resistant to the protests and to everything else. He's making himself powerful. And it didn't have to go this way. He would still been gung-ho on banks and dollars had he at least had the opportunity to have a fair fight back, which he didn't have. That is being real. So this is the power of Bitcoin. I think that's why his son is also pushing it. I wouldn't be surprised if his son pushed it on his dad and said, hey, Dad, you told me you couldn't give me my $100,000 allowance last year around this time because the government shut down your banking. Well, here's Bitcoin, Dad. There's no reason for you never not to give me my $100,000 allowance. We need to get our family. I can see his son saying, Dad, for the survival of our family, you have to get Bitcoin. You just saw what America did to you. We carry your last name, Dad. You need to be pushing Bitcoin. And that's when he came back and did. He came back and said, hey, Bitcoin it is. You wonder why his son is screaming Bitcoin after they tried to debank him. Oh, and speaking of which, when it comes to being censored, YouTube, what have I done to you lately? I've been meaning to say this since last week. I forgot to mention it. Holy, what have I done to YouTube? You all might not notice because they're older ones. I'm seeing on the back end. For whatever weird reason, YouTube is going back through my channel right now, deleting videos and not giving me warnings. They deleted the biggest video. You won't find which call on here anymore. I gotta get them back on. I can't think off the top of my head. Our best guest yet too. Where's our best guest? I'm just having a brain fart. I was just doing some Cliff High. Cliff High. YouTube deleted the Cliff High video. Let me go to the email. I actually didn't close the email. I've had it up for a few days. I've been meaning to mention it. They deleted that and they stated it was wrong health information. They said he was giving out health information. It was during the COVID days. I remember he pushed back against COVID, but YouTube just deleted that like 72 hours ago on my channel. No warning, no nothing. They say, hey, we won't strike you because you didn't know, but we are officially removing. They removed the video. It's for citing wrong health information. So that video is gone. And that was from at least 3 years ago. And then they just deleted a stack video as well. They deleted a stack video. I can't remember the reason why they said behind that one too. So it's even happening here on this channel out the blue from years ago. I'm not sure who at YouTube is going back through my channel, or maybe it's some of these people possibly like for Cliff Eye. He's popular in other places. So maybe they were just like, all right, we're just scrubbing Cliff Eye from the YouTube in general. But the scrub is happening, Cliff. If you're listening, they are trying. I might get in trouble for saying your name as many times on the stream. They're definitely trying to get you about here. But that video is gone on YouTube. It's officially gone. Luckily, I'm pretty sure I still have the podcast, but who cares? This is the thing where the ethos of Bitcoin and crypto, where it's going to really quick, which I love, is that you can a couple things. First, I can't remember which blockchain, whatever, but they were hosting shows or hosting podcasts, and I put a bunch of the podcasts and stuff on there. Those you can't delete it. I was going up, of course, you all see cleaning up all the back end stuff and going over old websites and redoing new signage and all that. But a couple of the sites that we were streaming on and stuff that's on the blockchain, you cannot delete these episodes anymore. It's officially on some blockchains out there, which is pretty cool to see, where it's like, no, you no longer can delete a video or a podcast or anything you do. This is going to be history now, whether you want to or not. I like that. But what I love most about this space is how it's always new stuff and we're always improving. And even when it comes to YouTube, this is why it's like whack-a-mole. Yes, I backed it up, but it's also like, for what? If as long as I'm still alive, I'm still gonna be doing this with different people, and we can always still do another Cliff High or whoever else interview if they're still alive, of course. But it is unfortunate to see this is the direction even YouTube and other platforms go. But again, going back to the story, looking at YouTube and my own experiences, you can't wonder why the president's son, the president, are now saying Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. When literally we're starting to we're turning into Nazi Germany here in America, where we're just restricting everything that doesn't make us feel good for whatever reason. But again, this is Baron Eric Trump, excuse me, expressing confidence that Bitcoin will hit $1 million per coin one day, highlighting the cryptocurrency's potential to transform the global economy in beautiful ways. Again, I don't know how their family does it. What I will tell you is shout out to Chief and his family. They're paying attention. There are families in this country. There's one family, it's a military family, everything I know. And every night they had three children. They're all my age, so they're adults now. Two of which was in the military. I think one was like a doctor or something, or whatever. She had a great job. But every night I used to go over there, whatever, when I was training for the military, because he's a military contractor, blah, blah, blah. This is all the back end CIA spy stuff of how I actually came to be. It's for stories for another time. But I would stay with this guy every now and then, train him, because I would bounce around in different cities and states or whatever. And this was like the local spot I would go to. But every night, him and his family would have talks about the world, geopolitics, what's going on here, businesses, where we need to be in 5 years, 10 years, where we need to be as a country, as a community, how we're getting there. Some of the things he's done with me and some of the people he put me together with, like, we have this community and communities that's been going strong now for some years, and these will be the future. Well, they already are. Some of them are already the future military leaders, but some of them will be future political leaders. I know a couple of those who are already in this circle and everything. There's some real circles in the background, people. I'm letting you know. But my point is that, like, these people are listening to their kids. They're putting this information into their kids. Then they're sitting down at the dinner table and taking back the feedback. So again, if Eric Trump is this loud and proud with it publicly, you better believe at night when he's at home with his father, or going to go visit his dad on the weekends or any of that stuff, this is what they're talking about as a family. How, as a family, we can protect ourselves against America if they ever want to come at us again like that, and how we can do this as a country as well from these same type of people and organizations that are trying to do this to the general public. And we get a Bitcoin reserve system. So it looks like he's not going to be faking the funk. I don't think when it comes to Bitcoin, I think Trump might come in January 20th, full Bitcoin, full crypto, and make some drastic changes. And by the way, that's actually the best time to do it. It's just shock and awe. Don't wait. Don't piecemeal it. Don't do it every 3 months here, every 6 months. Come in the first day and be like, all this is changing all at one time. Let people adjust to it within a couple of weeks. That would be the new norm. All right, last but not least, what does Google quantum computing chip mean for Bitcoin? While everybody's talking about $1 million Bitcoin and all the greatness, there are others saying, hey, the party is almost at the end as this quantum computing kicks up. For those who don't know, quantum computing has been the one and only thing people have said this could be the thing to hack the Bitcoin network. They say once quantum computing happens, you'll have the technology to go back and change the blockchain, even though people also are not accounting into the fact that Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin developers may also use quantum computing to protect the blockchain. But we're just being negative Nancy. We got to look at it that way. What does the uber powerful quantum supercomputer Willow mean for Bitcoin and cybersecurity? And again, once you know, quantum computing does indeed pose significant threats to current security systems. For those who don't know, it is a very powerful and complex computer or server that allows the computer to do even more faster and more efficient algorithms at again at a more efficient pace. So for a regular, say, laptop where you can't mine Bitcoin really, or it takes forever, then you get a better computer or better hardware to mine Bitcoin. Maybe you have an ant miner, maybe you're part of a mining farm and it goes even faster. Well, they're saying, hey, well, one supercomputer is all that plus more times a million combined. Okay, they say you're going to be going super fast. Bitcoin using algorithms like SHA-256, of course, for mining, and ECDSA for signatures, which might be vulnerable to quantum decryption. SHA-256 is the best out yet, though. So again, but don't sell your coins just yet. Google's new quantum computing chip could mean Bitcoin is finished. That was the sentiment for some on Monday as the internet giant unveiled Willow, a quantum supercomputer that can perform certain computational tasks in just 5 minutes that will take classical supercomputers an astronomical amount of time, specifically 10 septillion years, or followed by 24 zeros, a trillion. So again, 5 minutes from a trillion zeros, from 10 septillion years, 5 minutes from that. So that is giving you just a kind of like a dose of what quantum computing looks like. Now, for me, in my opinion, if it were to work specifically to hack the Bitcoin network, they need to do it right now, today. Like, it has to go now. It has to go now, because any moment after this, like in the next week or two, again, your Bitcoin developers are like some of the smartest people on the planet. They're some of the best developers in the world. So they're going to see the same article as everyone else, right? And that's assuming they don't have anyone who works at Google that's helped create the quantum computer, which I highly doubt that the developers and cyberpunks that are working on Bitcoin don't know the same people that are creating the cybercomputer, or excuse me, the supercomputer, quantum computer over at Google. Like, this is a small circle of people who are like at this level, right? I'm sure some of them know each other. They've talked back and forth. They probably share information. They probably use a lot of open source information as well. But regardless, even if they didn't know each other, these same developers are seeing this story today. They're going to look into it the same way I'm looking into it. They're not going to say, oh, here's a threat to Bitcoin, the project I spent the last 15 to 20 years of my life on now. All my money and my kids and everything else is involved. Let me just ignore this and just keep coding the way I've been coding. Like, no, they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to look at this Willow project and what it can do and what the supercomputer is capable of and how you can replicate it and how you can defend against it. Like, they are going to instill the same technology that the supercomputer would be used to do otherwise. So this doesn't scare me as much as it scares people when they keep saying like quantum computing's coming, like this is going to be the end of crypto, it'll be unsecure. Like, nah, not really. The weaker change, yes. For those weaker altcoins that just pop up and are just rewriting code and copy or meme coin in and out, like all that might be over with overnight. Yeah, you get you a quantum computer at a, I wouldn't even say at a retail level. You get it at a right VC firm and they just start going crazy on the meme market, and all of a sudden we can't figure out what's happening, where every meme coin is just legit pumping dumb. It might come out, oh, they got Willow working in the background. It's over with, right? They'll take down a meme blockchain in 5 minutes. Are they taking down Bitcoin's blockchain? I don't know. But such an amount of time is greater than the existence of the entire universe. They're talking about that trillion number at 13.8 billion years. In superficial theory, such a powerful computer could mean no passwords are safe, encrypted messages are intercepted, nuclear weapon codes are found out, and almost anything can be unlocked by brute forcing combinations of numbers and letters. And that brings us back to our earlier point about Bitcoin, when everyone said, well, what happens if the internet goes out? And it's like, well, if the internet goes out, you won't even be worried about Bitcoin, or like it's survival time. If the internet goes out, that means some electricity in people's areas is going to come out. Like, a lot of services will stop. So this is the same thing where it's like, well, if quantum computing can hack Bitcoin, well, if quantum computing can hack Bitcoin, it can hack everything, right? So that's the last, I won't say last, but we won't be worried about that at the onset. It'll be so much and so many other things. Like I said, you're just going to hack Bitcoin but not get the nuclear missile and get full. I mean, yeah, I guess you get those 17-year-olds with a quantum computer going crazy again, but like by and large, it probably doesn't mean that yet. Again, they're saying there's no looming threat yet. Quantum computing leverages the principles of quantum mechanics using quantum bits or qubits instead of traditional bits. But again, this is super new, so it's not there yet. And there's nothing to really be worried about, but it is on the horizon. We've talked about it for years, and it looks like there's a new computer chip coming out of Google, which would be able to quantum compute, as you can see here, cracking a 30-year challenge in the field. 30 years they've been working on it. And while I'm sure they cracked a lot of technology in a challenge, it probably won't change the world right now. But let's check back in next year. Who knows? Because a year with this type of technology could make a lot of differences. But right now, we're still good to go. All right. Other than that, that is the show for today. Let me look at the comments real quick before I call it a day. Remember in Transformers when they hacked everything in seconds? That's quantum computing. Right. Yeah. When the little robots could walk around and hack stuff for sure. Cryptography is only going to improve with quantum computing, says Kevin Cummings. I agree as well. Again, the thought right now is just that only the bad guys will be working on this and the good guys will not. I think it's actually going to be the opposite. For one, unless it's like we're on the onset of World War III and United States, Russia, Germany, India has like some scientists locked up, which I know we all do have in different countries, but specifically working on this and not letting the world know about it as like new things are coming out, then there's mostly good guys working on this, right? There's mostly like the developers and the people who are working on quantum computing at that level. They're not like, goodness, we've been watching too many movies. They're not bad people. they're like they're like mathematicians, cryptographers, like some scientists, but people who have been in their field for 20 to 30 years with families and stuff. They're not like, oh, how can I figure out how to crack the code of all the technology of the world to bring the world to its knees? Like, no, I think a lot of humans saw how bad things got in World War II with the A bomb and everything else. It's not like people are against making that type of technology because it certainly pays well. But I don't think that's on the tip of their, like, that's not on their brain when they're trying to figure out quantum computing. Like, just to have the knowledge and expertise, you have to love the work, right? So you're not going to love that work and get that far and then be like, all right, now how to use this to get a nuclear missile. I don't see that happening. Like, the bad guys aren't in the house yet. We can give it some years. Like, yeah, maybe after like the 10th quantum computer, and then you'll start seeing some bad actors pop up as they start buying them on the secondary market and things like that. But right now, the onset, nah, unless, like I said, is in some secret super villains president's secret lab or something where they're just like trying to take over the world. And I'm sure there's a couple of those, like, you know, there's a couple of developers getting a whip cracked on them in some dark room somewhere, I'm sure, right? But that's not the majority. I don't think quantum computer or even a Google one is going to be like all hell and everything. I think it's going to be nothing but goodness. So that's that. Cario said, when are the holiday drinks meetup? Someone just asked me that the other day. It may have to be in the new year. We shall see. I may do something for the new year because, again, right now I'm trying to get everything straight on the back end because the new year will be a ton of new developments and updates here. I want to make sure I'm just like in great position so there's no more breaks and pauses, things like that. So, but I like the idea. I'll let you know for sure. All right. Other than that, that is the show for the day. Smash that like and share. And I shall see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news. What's today? Today's Wednesday, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. It's been a slow news cycle. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It might be a short show.